Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Okay, so in the last video in this very long series, I explained how to make a super cool helmet that's three-dimensional, like the one I'm wearing right now. Some might even say specifically the one that I'm wearing right now, but you know, hey, details. In this one, I would like to kind of explain how to actually make custom armor, as in everything other than the helmet, because, well, the helmet I've already done. This method will require Optifine. You can also replace the vanilla texture, so you remove diamond armor and instead do your own thing, but like, that's not how data packing works. With the data pack, you don't want to remove anything, you just want to add on to the vanilla gameplay. So generally I just use the Optifine method, but I will mention how to actually do it without Optifine as well if you want to replace a vanilla texture. But yeah, that's basically just that. Also, I would like to say just thanks for how positively the last video was received. I actually was quite nervous because I haven't really done a video like that before. So yeah, quite nice. Also, thanks for, positive comments about this area where I record this, because, like, I actually put a lot of effort into it. Like, just casually, like, changing the table into being a 3D model, my chair being into a 3D model, the plants being into a 3D model, and just all that. So yeah, I'm glad it's been, like, received well. So yeah, anyhow, let's, I guess get started on actually changing armor and doing cool stuff. Okay, however, before we get started on the texturing, what we do need to do is decide a choice between two options. Option one is going to be making the armor change to our custom armor dependent on the name, and the other would be making the armor change dependent on a custom NBT data, right? Something that you can only access with a data pack or with commands. So yeah, that's basically the choice. You can also go for a weird third option, which is just replace the armor. Yeah, that's that. Replacing the name is what basically everyone in Empires does, because it is a lot more simple than having a data pack change the armor for you, and it doesn't really matter because everyone on the server has agreed, I assume, to just not use each other's armor. But if you would do this on your own server, then you are able to expect other people to happen to have the same names and therefore the same armor, especially if you put it on a server resource pack. And the armor becomes a lot more cosmetic than if you have a data pack changing it, right? So it's just a matter of preference, and just do whatever you want, but those are basically your choices for what you can do. Also, this section is probably a lot longer than would have needed, and you probably decided within me submitting the choice, but hey, it meh. I can talk for as long as I want, okay? This is my video. Okay, so this is the resource pack, almost completely the same as where we left off. I just added one tiny thing where I remember the pumpkin image that showed up whenever you put a pumpkin on your head. Well, I removed that because I got kind of tired of having a pumpkin on my face, so I can now wear the hat without having a pumpkin blur on my face. So this is just an empty image, really. Just named pumpkin blur in this folder. Anyhow, so what I now am going to have to do is make a new folder, because I want it slightly organized, inside of the Optifine /CIT folder, right? And there I'm going to put my custom armor. So yeah, tutorial underscore, right? And then I can click this closed, and then I have everything good. So inside of here, what I'm going to need is to have my actual armor. Obviously, big surprise, I know. So the actual armor textures and the properties file, just like in here. So here it's saying, hey, you have an item and it is for a carved pumpkin, and you need to use this model whenever this is true, right? So it's going to be similar to that, it's just not exactly the same, because it needs to be for armor instead of, you know, for an item. So yeah, first of all, I'm going to get the base textures what I'm going to be working off of, so just diamond armor in here, and I'll put the download link for the vanilla diamond armor in the description down below as well, so you can actually download it and start at the same point as me. Okay, there we go. So you now can see that I added layer 1 and layer 2 into here, and you can see that these are just the vanilla diamond armor textures. Also, I added into the textures models armor a diamond layer 1 and a diamond layer 2.png. These are the vanilla files at their locations, so if you change these, you'll actually change the normal diamond armor. So you should put it here if you want to not use Optifine and just have custom armor, because you're replacing all diamond armor. So if you want that, then you can do that. And you can probably guess the other names like chainmail layer 1 or gold layer 1 or iron layer 1 or netherite layer 1 or turtle layer 1 or leather layer 1 overlay things. Leather is a bit more complicated because it has multiple colors and whatnot, but yeah. So from this tutorial I will be just doing it inside the Optifine, but you should probably be able to guess on how to do it in here as well. So I'm now going to just delete this because I'm not going to be using it. Okay. So now I guess I'll just not do that and go ahead and add a properties file in order to make these used. Okay, so this is the file for replacing diamond armor. You can see that here it says texture.diamond layer 1 is now replaced with this folder. So that's what this dot means. This folder / layer 1. So that it refers to that file. This one obviously refers to that file, right? However, I would also like to do netherite armor at the same time, so it does both. Because just in case at any point in time upgrade to netherite armor, I want it to still work. So what I now do is just add a bunch of more items to this list of items. So diamond helmet, diamond chestplate, diamond leggings, diamond boots, netherite helmet, netherite chestplate, netherite leggings, and netherite boots, and just these 2 layers, and then that should work. And here I have the npt.display.name equals iPattern : tribal. What this does is say, hey, if the name of the item contains tribal at any point, upper or lower case, any sort of variation with capitalization, all fine. If this contains the characters tribal, it's fine. Okay, so I didn't really explain it all too well, so now I'm in editing, explaining it better. So yeah, you've got this, you know, tribal thing, right? So yeah, you see that they have the stars in front of it, and this section is just text, and then you've got the stars again. Okay, so these stars basically mean, okay, this is a wildcard, meaning any character whatsoever, so you can have any text in front of it and any text after it, right? But it needs to at some point contain tribal in this formation. And in front of it, it had pattern, something like that. Then out of this, the I section means that the capitalization doesn't matter, and the pattern part means that I can use wildcards like this. Otherwise, these stars would simply mean the star, I think. But yeah, that's really quickly just what this does, and I just really quickly wanted to explain it. But yeah, back to the actual video. And it should use these textures. So now let me really quickly change these textures, just simple, just add some squiggly lines onto it just so you can tell the difference. And then see if it actually works. Okay, so I figured I might as well just do this on camera and explain which part of the texture mean what at the same time. So this is obviously the helmet, right? You can see that. So I'm just adding some small like things onto it so you can tell. Okay. So this is obviously the front, and then, you know, this is the back, and these are the things in between. This is the top, and this is the bottom face of my helmet, which is unused by basically most helmets. This area is for the boots. This is for the chest plate. This is for my shoulder pads. Once again, everything is in the same fashion of bottom, top, and then this area is for the four faces. This is the top, this is the bottom face, and these are the sides. And that is everything inside of layer 1, all lined up. And this is layer 2, which is basically just pants. So this is my pants section for like the things actually around my pants, but here is a super cool thing about pants, which is they actually also have a cool thing which actually goes over the entire chest. But yeah, let's now that that is all done, go ahead and just see if it all worked out, right? Okay, so I've got a full set of diamond armor, named loads of variations of tribal with different screaming capitalizations. So yeah, let's now see if it all works. So I'm gonna take off my carved pumpkin and put on my super cool set of diamond armor, and you can see nothing changed. Why is that? Well, because I need to obviously once again refresh my resource pack. So I'm really quickly gonna do that. Okay, so you can see now that there are a lot of weird squiggly lines, basically everywhere. But yeah, you can tell that if I take some of this off, that you can see super cool squiggly lines. But if I only have my chest plate, you can see kind of difficult because of my skin. But yeah, you can tell that that the line actually continues further upwards all the way across my chest, which is actually quite nice. And here you can see that I've got a really cool chest plate, also full of squiggly lines, and I've got a helmet with loads of lines at the bottom, showing that it is actually a cube. Anyhow, so now that that's all done and dusted, I can now go ahead and actually make a better looking armor set, which might be in the form of a time lapse. I don't honestly know yet, but yeah, I guess you'll find out quicker than me. But yeah, let's get started on actually changing the texture. Okay, so first of all, obviously this is the helmet, but I don't need a helmet. I already have a helmet. So this can all go away. So then it's kind of just a matter of how far do I want to go with copying this section, right? Because here I have the super cool wood colors that I would want to have, and all of the like feather colors that I would want to have. So I don't really know how far I want to go with copying those colors, but I think pretty far. So just doing something along those lines, right? And I, in theory, could go ahead and like also add in, bits and bobs, right? So just stuff like that. And maybe, do I have multiple bright colors? I think I do. Yes, I do. So just like a bit random, doesn't really need to have all that much meaning. But yeah. So that's just really quickly that. And then I just want to have stuff like this from arms, right? Like so, and something along those lines. And this would be the front section, right? All this. And then here is where it curves to the sides of you. So now really quickly just gonna do a bit of a time lapse. So the answer to the question was both. Yeah, I'm really quickly just gonna do a bit of a time lapse and just do this slightly more quick, but with the same techniques basically. So yeah. Okay, so there we are. It now is really quite nice. At least I think it will look nice. So now what I need to do is, because as you can see I added a second layer, that is so that it doesn't overlap, right? So now I can delete the background, which I use as a reference image to know how big it should be. And now just smash down the layers, and now I've got my super cool armor. So now we're really just gonna look at how it looks in game. Okay, so this is how it looks. It's already quite nice, but the shoulder pads kind of ruin it at the moment. So yeah, also there's not all that much green because the green is actually here in the side, so I think I want to remove it from here and add it to the shoulder pads, right? So the shoulder pads actually have the green, so it's a lot more nice and viewable, and yeah. Let's do that now. Okay, so this is what I have now. You can see obviously I've got the same hat that I always have, but I also now have this really cool chest plate. So yeah, that's basically it. I've you know, now that I've made this small change, it looks a whole lot better in my opinion. You know, it could be refined just a tad more, added some small changes like moving some pixels around. But this is a tutorial, this is not for someone who will ever actually use it for anything. It's fine. So yeah, it will do for the purpose of this video. So yeah, now I'll just quickly make some leggings and boots, and then come back to you and explain the other ways of making the armor actually used. So other than just giving it a custom name. So yeah, let's get going again. Okay, so, well, you can see that something has gone wrong. Or at least in my opinion, something has gone wrong. Because I don't really like it anymore. So basically, I have stuck with the same pattern that I did with the helmet, where I did blue in the middle and then red and then green, basically. More or less. So basically everywhere, blue is in the middle and then there's red, but it's to the point where everything is overlapping and nothing is nice, so it kind of is too much, in my opinion. So if I remove the boots, then, you know, the boots don't really add or remove anything, it's you know, the boots are fine. And if I remove the leggings, now everything is still fine, you know. So basically somehow the leggings are ruining things. If I remove the chest plate, but still have leggings and boots, then it still looks way too chaotic, right? So, yeah. Anyway, so the problem is in the leggings. So I'm probably going to remove a couple of things and add a couple of things. And see if I can make it so that it is less chaotic. Okay, so this is what I have after some small changes. It's still quite chaotic, like quite colorful and stuff, but I think it is kind of supposed to be. So I could fiddle with this for another, like, just, you know, for another hour, and then I'm sure I'll get a better result than what I have now. But, you know, that's not what this video is about. It's not about making a super cool set of armor, it's about teaching you how to make a super cool set of armor. So if, you know, if you spend another hour on this, then I'm sure you'd get a super cool result. Maybe my choice for example set is kind of bad because while the wood is quite cool, you know, the colors are kind of big and overlapping. but they are good for showing which parts of the texture actually end up where. So that is quite nice. Anyhow, so yeah, I suppose that I might just leave it here. Admittedly, I'm probably gonna fiddle with this for another hour, but I'm probably not gonna do it on camera because the last video was 42 minutes, and I don't want to get to that level again. So yeah, I'm gonna probably go leaving the texturing here for the video, and now explain how to make it so that doesn't actually rely on you naming the item. Okay, so back into the Resourcepack we go. You can see that I've made a new properties file. Also, I renamed this from hat because it's not a hat, so it's now actually armor. And now all I want is to change this one to make it not based on a name, but instead based on something else, right? So first of all, I'm saying, hey, I still need MBG, because I'm still checking for MBG data, I'm just not checking for the name. I'm also not checking for a display, because that is something that Minecraft uses, and I'm not going to mess with that. So inside of here, I'm going to make a new folder called Command Witchery. Okay, so that basically says, hey, I'm going to have a subfolder for everything that is new. So logically speaking, no one else will ever use a folder called Command Witchery. Whenever I make a data pack, I instead name it the name of the data pack, so I can name it superheroes or something like that, if I have a lot of items that are superhero related. So inside of this folder, because it's a tutorial, naming it just Command Witchery, I will now put something inside of it, so armor set. And this is going to be a numerical value saying which one of my armor sets I want to use. And there would be equal to a 1. So this is saying, hey, number 1 is my tribal armor set. And that's basically it. So now what I do need is to give myself an armor set with this proper MBG data. So I'll really quickly show that now. Okay, so here I still have the old set, so all the variations of tribal, all working out. So now what I want is to, instead of having it based on the name, which a player can edit, have it some MBG data that the player can't edit. And you need to use a command for. So the command, in order to get the MBG data that belong to the thing that I just put on screen a bit ago, you know, where I wrote it, is this. So what this does is say, I'm giving myself a diamond chestplate, and it has MBG data. And I want to have Command Witchery, which has data, once again, which is armor set, which has a value, which is 1. Basically, that's how things work. So now if I give myself this, put it on, you can see that works. So now I'm just going to do the same thing for leggings, and do the same thing for my boots, and put those on, you can see that also works. So yeah, I've also not tested netherite, but I'm sure it works, because how could anything ever go wrong, right? And there we go. So yeah, you can see that netherite works just as well as anything else. However, iron doesn't. So if I get iron boots, I get an advancement, and it doesn't work. Even though they, as you can see, have the same MBT data. It has 2 tags. Just as my netherite boots and my diamond boots. These. There you go. So yeah, that's basically that for the armor in 3-dimensional land. It just doesn't have that nice of a texture yet here. So I'm probably gonna do that now, assuming that I'm not lazy. Okay, so turns out that I actually don't have a lot, and I've actually just really quickly just made all of these. So yeah, they're quite nice, fit in quite well, I think. It's good enough for it to all work out. Look nice in your inventory for you to be able to tell that these diamond leggings are different from normal diamond leggings. So yeah, that's basically that. I'll also really quickly show you how to do it yourself. So here is a new folder that I made. It's inside of the armor tutorial folder, but of course you can put it wherever you want. And here I have PNG files, the classic 16x16, which is used for items, and another 16x16, once again an item, and once again an item. So these you should be able to make yourself. You can just, go over to here, make a new file, make it 16x16, delete everything, and then just go draw, and then you have your super cool file. Anyhow, so that what is actually semi-important is here, what you do is you say type equals item. This is quite similar to the hat properties file, because it's still an item. And I say that I want to change diamond leggings and netherite leggings, work for both. And instead of saying that the model is a specific file, I'm saying that the texture is a specific file. And then here I'm saying mt.display.name is the eye pattern of tribal. And here I use the custom armor sets data thing that I showed. You can pick one or the other. I don't advise doing both, because then there's not really a point. I just pick whichever one you want and just have those. So yeah, and I did that with the chestplate as well, and as you can see, and I also did it for the boots. And I didn't do it for a helmet because the helmet doesn't really exist in this armor set. But yeah, making a helmet is the exact same system, so it's really quite simple and not complicated at all. What I didn't mention in this clip was the fact that you can actually also do the item texture in vanilla Minecraft. So changing the item model that is in your hand of a chestplate, that you can completely do in vanilla Minecraft without having to use Optifine. It's just that the armor that you wear has to be done with Optifine. But yeah, what you can do is just very similar to what we did in the first video for a carved pumpkin hat. This works for a super duper cool chestplate. So then you would have a parent, which is Minecraft item / generated, which does some preset data stuff, and then you say the texture has to be Minecraft item diamond chestplate, so leggings or boots. And then you just have an override saying that there's a predicate saying that I want a custom model data of some number, and then you have saying that it uses the model of a really cool chestplate. That's basically that. Really quite simple. This model obviously needs to also exist, so in your namespace, and then in an item folder, and there you have a file which looks very much similar to this. Once again, just brackets, same parent, just a different texture, and not including an override, and that's that. It's really quite simple, but yeah. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, but yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. So yeah, if you liked the video, then consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment saying how great of a person I am, and yeah, subscribing if you have just recently discovered my channel through these videos. Yeah, other than that, I'm still debating whether or not I want to do a third video explaining like custom items and like the data pack aspect of what I do, but I don't know yet. So it would largely just be the data pack aspect because, well, with this item I've already explained most of it. In combination with the helmet for a custom model, I don't know how much resource packing I would have to be explaining. But yeah, if you would be interested in right-click detection and having that send a projectile, let me know, and if you would rather just see something else, then I guess also let me know. in the comments down below, or on my Discord, which should also be somewhere in the description. But yeah, with that all said and done, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.